Big changes are coming to Manchester United this summer, and we're going to rebuild that starting 11 with 5 big changes that will revamp Man United for next season. Now, it's all good and well talking about these players that are going to come in, but what about the players that are going to leave? It's a sad time, sort of, although you need a reset, don't you? So for this rebuild to work, we need a clear out, and we need to make way for incomings. The players with contracts expiring this month are Tom Heaton, Johnny Evans, Rafael Varane, yeah, but he gets injured all the time, Anthony Martial, ditto, and Amrabat, due to his loan expiring, which I'm not totally thrilled about, because I think Amrabat is a bloody good player, and I think he's shown that in the last few weeks of the season, and I think he would have a part to play. Let me know in the comments down below if you would keep a hold of Amrabat. I would like him to stay, but if you need some cash or need to utilise cash elsewhere, you know, yeah. But that's not it, okay? This is a proper clear out. We need to get rid of more players first. Now, firstly, we're going to be saying goodbye to Casemiro. His race is ran quite slowly. Which, I mean, I don't really like talking about players being slow because I'm one of those guys, but it's done, innit? And look, there's interest from Saudi clubs currently, so there may be some cash exchanged. Generally, there is, isn't there? Another player that we're going to have to get rid of, which I don't like either because I think he's continued to develop and is a fantastic Premier League player, is Wan-Bissaka. I think it's time to level up in that position from an attacking point of view. And finally, Christian Eriksen is also a player we're sadly going to be saying goodbye to. The legs aren't there. He needs more legs around him. And if Man United are lucky, they may be able to get rid of Antony as well. But his contract may be an issue. And then you have the big question, of course, Sancho. But there's actually one other huge departure that could open the door to even bigger arrivals. We'll reveal that one a little later on. Right, let's get into the juicy fruit. We're going to talk about the players that will be coming in. We'll show you the lineup and how they would work together. So for goalkeeper, we're obviously, well, look, we've got Onana in there, okay? I think he definitely absolutely deserves to retain his place. The defence is where we start to see big changes. So on the right-hand side, Wan-Bissaka, get some money for him. Delo, we're sticking with you. Been very happy with him. I think he's had a really good season, kind of come of age this year. He's been one that I've critiqued regularly and I've not been totally sure on him, but his overall baseline has gone through the roof, and I'm intrigued to see just how good he can be. But you're going to need that backup, and so I think a clever move would be, obviously with Wan-Bissaka going, maybe a loan move for Sacha Boey, as he has only played twice for Bayern in the league since joining and is currently their third choice right back. So that could be a clever one, with the finances being not ideal at the moment. The centre-back is where Man United really need to strengthen, and we've gone big here. And Man United could capitalise on the market in a clever way here if they would like to. Now, I know they're linked with Branthwaite, and understandably so, but it's a right-footed option that we're going to be putting forward who could form a crucial partnership with Lisandro Martinez. Okay, we like Lisandro Martinez. He'll be on the left-hand side, of course. This player is only 18, which I know would probably ring a few alarm bells, but he has shown immense levels this season, which have been seen by all sorts of clubs. He's actually been linked with Real Madrid, who go and get those incredible players and allow them to grow, create a big club mentality with high quality players that stay there for 10 years and win it all. This is the first guy that allows you to go towards that Real Madrid blueprint, in my opinion. And the man is Leny Yoro. Amazing player, a great Varane replacement, and actually he's got a £78 million release clause by Lille, who aren't in an amazing position financially, and if Man United are willing to spend that on Branthwaite, Yoro, in my opinion, is the better option. The important thing here is that his ability and Martinez's ability on the ball would be absolutely crucial to a Man United team that's going to be successful. And getting these two together, I think, would be fantastic. Of course, Martinez will be that leader, but Yoro, he has great recovery speed. He's a big lad as well, which I think would aid Man United playing a higher line. Next, we're going to go for a left-back because Shaw and Malasia's injuries have massively held them back in that position this season. And yeah, if you're not going to be available, you are then becoming a hindrance. And therefore, they need to move forward in that position. And DeMarco, is the player that I want to put forward. He's one of the best left wing backs in world football this season. That's right. We're not messing about. We're rebuilding. We're revamping. And the reason we're putting forward DiMarco is, one, he'll be getting forward, and that's very exciting. But also, I think they should capitalise on Inter's finances at the moment, which aren't in the best place. So I think an offer of around 40 million might just about do it for one of the best on the left-hand side. And it's weird. Left back's a weird position in world football at the moment. There aren't too many incredible assets out there. And this is why it would work, because Yoro and Martinez are exceptional in possession. They would be able to bring the ball out. Should we get a ball out? Where is it? Go on, Martinez. But Yoro very chilled when he comes out with the ball as well. You can have the ball, Yoro. They would be able to bring the ball out in possession. Meanwhile, Delo has shown this season that he can become an inverted fullback if he needs to be. He can step into that position there, but also just be an out-and-out fullback. So he's of real use, especially when you've got someone like DiMarco, who would naturally take a high position, and his delivery into the box, I think, could be an absolute game changer. We talk about lack of service for someone like Højlund this season. This would sort that out a little bit, because DiMarco created the third most open play chances at Inter last season in their title win. The midfield is a huge area which needs improvement for Man United. A defensive partner who can allow Kobbie Mainoo to thrive is high on the agenda. And whilst we've spoken about Amrabat and he could return, and again, I wouldn't hate that, we're still going big here as well, because I think it's needed. It's such a crucial area of the pitch for any top team these days. Man United need their own version of Rodri, and Casemiro is not it anymore, I'm afraid. It's time to get ruthless, guys. But the problem is that these players are in short supply right now. So we had to go on a hunt and get one, but we found him. We found him. We knocked on the door. We said, "Is that you?" And he said, "Yes, it is. I am your Rodri version, or a version of Rodri." And this is actually a player that Arne Slot, the new Liverpool boss, absolutely loves. But a move to Manchester United feels way more suitable. And that player is Mats Vijver. I love saying it. We've got him here because he can play in a midfield partnership, but in possession, I think he's very, very comfortable. He can shift, he can shift, he can shifty, shifty, shift, get on the ball, give me the ball, let me play that ball, let me pippity pip pip pop pop pop, which every team needs a pippity pop man. Everyone needs a 100-touch man. He's so comfortable as a single pivot, which I think then gets the best out of, Kobbie Mainoo. Allows him to play a little bit further forward. And as a metronome in midfield, I think he fits very well. With 8.04 progressive passes, he ranks in the top 6% for midfielders in Europe. And that ability to receive the ball in the middle third and play it vertically. Should we get the ball for him? Play it vertically to someone like Kobbie Mainoo or some of the other players that we're going to talk about. I think it's needed, and it's needed so badly. If we think of the other players that have stepped up and played in that position, Casemiro, okay at it, not great. McTominay, totally not capable of it. Amrabat, again, I think he's good and he's solid, and I think in a better system, a more possession-based system, I think he does much better. But Mats Vijver would be great, I think. And of course, we've spoken about Kobbie Mainoo, but we've got to talk about Bruno Fernandes. You're not going anywhere, young man. You're staying right here. And the reason why we want someone like Mats Vijver in the building is because you want to allow Kobbie Mainoo to move about, and maybe make those darting runs actually at times. But also you want to allow Bruno Fernandes to stay higher up the pitch. I think one of the problems with Ten Hag to a point was you wanted Mason Mount in there. It hasn't worked. He's had injuries as well, so that's a big part of it all. But Kobbie Mainoo, Vijver and Fernandes together, that feels like a really, really good team with, as I say, Mats Vijver shuffling. Every minute he's shuffling. Now the attack. This is where things start to become somewhat spicy. I think it's obvious that Man United need reinforcements in attacking areas. Yes, you've got Garnacho. Yes, you've got Diallo. But there's been way too much pressure on those players. And I think you still need to spend big money in this area to take yourselves to the next level. I think this is needed given that they need a backup striker, possibly a right winger, and maybe a left winger as well. Because as we alluded to earlier, that big player who might leave this summer, we saw him crying in the FA Cup final. Yeah, he can play on the left. Yeah, he can play. That's not important right now. Important thing is Marcus Rashford. It might be time to sell. Those tears on FA Cup final day, was it because of the season that had just passed and everything he'd gone through, and there was just a relief of winning a trophy for Man United? That is obviously a huge pressure that a player has to deal with. Or was it something that little bit deeper? We will find out as the summer progresses. So let's get into it. Let's start on the right-hand side. And I think there's a perfect option. It's a simple option. I think it's a great option. And of course, with the £60 million release clause, it feels like an absolute no-brainer to me. Elise has the right mentality, always scores against Man United as well. I think he would be fantastic for this team on that right-hand side. Of course, there's been so many problems on that side. No one really wants to be over there, it feels like at times. So I think he would be absolutely brilliant. In my opinion, actually, the only question here is, would Elise go to Manchester United? Would he have better options, again, because of that release clause? We've actually done a video breaking down Mikel Elise, so make sure you check out that video after this one. Now, we're going to leave the left-hand side for now. I want to talk about the striker position because we've got Højlund, who has shown some bright sparks, I think. Of course, he was waiting for a miracle to come, which is otherwise known as service. And of course, in those last few games and that FA Cup final, he actually got dropped and had to come on in the second half. But look, he's a really exciting player. And in the right world, in reality, in any other game aside from Manchester City, the way that they played on that day is probably not a sustainable plan for Man United, and therefore Højlund, you've got to get him involved, but you probably need a backup striker for him as well. And I think this guy is being hugely overlooked at the moment, but a big club will be coming for him soon. So the player that I want to talk about is Thijs Dallinga. Now, he scored 14 goals in Ligue 1 last season for an average Toulouse side. He also has 59 league career goals in 96 starts at the age of 23. Really, really important that despite being young, he's playing games as well and showing output. Similar profile to Højlund and would be a good backup. Now, time for the left wing. Let's get over to that bloody left wing, shall we? Because I think this player could light up the attack. This player is actually out of contract in 2025. And I think if he has a good Euros, I can see teams queuing up for him. That player is Federico Chiesa. In Chiesa and Elise, you have players that are world-class when they come inside. And Chiesa would be willing to do that. Elise, we've seen him do that time and again. And again, that video explains it in much more detail. But they also have that flair and one-on-one ability to beat their man out wide. And with Chiesa being 26, it means that he's in his prime. And when he starts to get older, Garnacho then just takes his spot, or, you rotate them anyway. The front three of Chiesa, Højlund, and Elise, I think is actually frighteningly good. Mikel Elise is one of the hottest properties this summer transfer window. Find out a little bit more about him right here.